Hi guys, it's Lori the Frugal Mom. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, well, I do videos usually about frugal cooking, um, housekeeping, living a frugal, fulfilled life, different things like that. So that's what my channel is usually about. However, this video is just a life update. Sorry for the glare in the back, that's my lamp. Most of you know that I was in the hospital last weekend, for like a day and a half. And I just wanted to update you guys. So, to tell you the truth, I am really not sure what the hell is going on. And I'll tell you why. Because I woke up on Friday morning and the side of my neck was swollen twice as large as it is right now. I had an egg shape underneath here. It's still a little swollen. It's still painful to the touch. I can still feel a bubble inside my neck. That is one of your salivary glands called the parotid gland. When I first got to the hospital, they did a bunch of blood work. They did a CAT scan. The CAT scan showed, and that is one of my cats walking in the room. Boy, that's weird. Just to see the door open. A little creepy. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so the CAT scan showed that I had an infection on the side where there was swelling, and I also had an infection on the other side that was inching towards my airway. So that's pretty scary. Because if that were to happen, it would potentially block my airway. They also saw that my white blood cell count was really elevated, like ridiculously, and my magnesium level was very low, which is frustrating because I take a bunch of different supplements and magnesium is one of them, and I take one daily. Every now and again I forget, but it's not enough to undo what I take. So, yeah, that is kind of baffling to me. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And then I was told by the same hospitalist that told me the results of the CAT scan that I had a touch of sepsis, as indicated from the blood work, and that I had tonsillitis. So, like my throat has been feeling bruised on and off for like the past 6 weeks, which is around the time that swelling on my neck showed up. Like I have allergies, seasonal allergies, and this is the time of year that they rear their ugly heads, this and the fall. So, to be honest with you, like that to me wasn't all that unusual. I have been feeling like super exhausted ever since this issue with my neck has started. Just can't seem to sleep enough. And then like a day or two before the egg-shaped lump came up on the side of my neck, I just was feeling like feverish and chills. I had a fever the day before the lump showed up, and I must have slept like 12 hours the day before. Oh, excuse me, see, I'm so tired. Oh gosh. So I saw an ENT while I was there, and the ENT pretty much poo-pooed everything that the hospitalist told me. He made me very uncomfortable, and he would interrupt me when I was in the middle of asking questions, and he was like, no, 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 no. And he didn't wear gloves when he did an exam, which kind of freaked me out a little bit. I mean, come on, we're in the hospital. And, he didn't even wash his hands. So, he seemed to think that, the cyst in my, or not cyst, but the swelling in my parotid gland was caused by something called TMD, which is temporal mandibular disorder, which basically is clenching and grinding your teeth, which a lot of us do. I have been doing that for years. I have not been wearing a night guard because my old one that I had made when I was in the dental field, it just got yucky and it wore out. I mean, it was probably about 5 years old, and I wore it every night almost. And unfortunately, I don't have dental insurance, and they are very expensive. They could be anywhere from $300 to $800, depending on the kind that you had. And when I was in the dental industry, I just paid the lab fee. So, I am still friendly with the dentist that I worked with, and actually I still go to him for my dental care, and I talked to him about everything on Saturday morning, and then when I was released, I told him what the ENT said, and I mean, I am not a doctor, but I did talk to the doctor, and he said that, you're not going to get an infection in your parotid gland from clenching and grinding your teeth. And I worked for 2 TMD specialists, and I have never seen that happen. Maybe, like the muscles on the side of your face would get swollen or whatnot, and there would be other issues. I am of the opinion that I have it coexisting with whatever is going on. So that's how I feel about it. I looked up that ENT's health grades and reviews, and most of them are just pretty awful. Like, only a couple of them are decent, and I read some disturbing things, and so I don't feel comfortable. So I called and I made an appointment with one of my friend's employers who's an ENT. His reputation is good. I looked up his reviews. So, I have an appointment with that doctor on June 2nd. However, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to go see my primary. I wish I could get another primary. The problem is that I have to pay 20% with my Medicare. And things are just so tight now that I just don't know how I would afford another bill. And where I go now, it's a VNA clinic. They just take what the Medicare pays, and I don't have any kind of copay with them. So that's my issue. I don't feel very comfortable after her telling me that I was too chubby to feel the issue in my neck. I mean, what if she missed something major? It's a little scary. I know that they are busy serving the community, and I know that they have to rush through the appointments sometimes, but I don't know. My faith is a little shaken, so hopefully I'll get to a place where I'll be able to see another doctor without having to worry about the financial implications of it. So that is what's going on. Most of this week, I've been feeling pretty out of it. I did manage to cook a couple days worth of dinner. I did it in the crock pot. Tonight I did my nails. I'll do a couple little things around the house, but nothing major. I haven't worked any of my gig jobs like DoorDash or Instacart. I really need to, though, because I've got some bills to pay, so I don't want to fall behind on anything, but you can only do so much, and there is a reason why I'm on SSDI, because I am disabled. I have such a tricky immune system, guys. I just catch weird things. It's just so odd. But I hope that this is nothing complicated. I was even told in the hospital by the hospitalist that I should ask my primary to test me for Sjogren's disease, since I have dry eye and I have other autoimmune issues, and salivary gland issues are part of it, and I do have usually like a characteristic rash on my face, which looks a lot like the Sjogren's rash. I was told that it was rosacea, but honestly, my faith is a little shaken in medicine right now. I mean, who knows if that's what it is? Who knows if it is a Sjogren's rash? So I will ask her that tomorrow and see what she thinks. The hospitalist also told me that there was a chance I could have mumps, but, that was also poo-pooed by the ENT because he said it would be kind of like equal on both sides of my neck, so I guess I understand that. I was released from the hospital because my bacterial load and my white blood cell count went down by half over a 24-hour period, and I did ask if I could, take care of things outpatient, because, as you all know, I do have 2 children, but one of them is a 15-year-old boy and he has ADHD, and I wanted to be home for him. And he was away last weekend with his dad, but he came home on Sunday. So, I do have my older sister here, but, it just makes life more difficult. I didn't want to upset the apple cart as far as his care. I mean, if I absolutely needed to, yeah, I would have. But he's got his routine. I have to make sure he takes his medications and makes his appointments, goes to school, and, he can be a little bit rough sometimes, and I didn't really think my sister would be capable of handling that, on a long-term basis. And I didn't want him to miss school. His dad lives almost an hour away, so we're almost to the end of the school year, so we'll see what goes on. But, that's what's been going on with me. I just want to feel completely well again and not like I need to sleep like most of the day away. I've been dealing with fatigue, excuse me guys, for a long time now, but this fatigue is kind of like unlike anything else. And, like I'm doing all the right things and taking the medications and the supplements I'm supposed to be taking. It's just like I just have no stamina. And I do have so much to do. I need to start downsizing my belongings because, it's an inevitability that I'll have to move into someplace smaller, maybe a 2-bedroom apartment at some point. So I really need to cut down on our belongings. And that's a daunting task. So, it seems like just a short time ago, we were a bigger family. I was engaged to someone for almost 6 years and we never got married. But, we had things together. And then, my older daughter, she lived with me and then she moved out and I still have some of her things. And, like we were a family of 5 and we're still a family of 4 and she still comes back to visit, sleep over and whatnot. But, she's got her own life now and she lives with her dad most of the time. So, it's time to start to pare down my belongings and ask myself, do I need this? I mean, we're kind of past the age of, me having big barbecues. I don't really have the energy for that. I don't really have the friend group that I used to have either. I'm not as sociable as I used to be. I don't have the money really to entertain anymore. So a lot of the stuff I had for that, I can kind of part with. I still do have gatherings, but only with my close friends and only usually around like special times of the year. I still will have friends over for coffee and whatnot, or I'll meet up with them somewhere. But, I think when you're a younger homemaker, you have all the trappings of, people with a more active social lifestyle or, a busier social lifestyle, I should say. But, especially now since I've become disabled, I just don't have the energy anymore. And, it's sad because once I was out of the workplace in a traditional sense, and when I went through my divorce, the group of friends that we had, they sort of like, a lot of them would drop by the side, and I don't really talk to them as much. If I run into them in a store, that's great. And we'll always say, well, we'll make plans to hang out and see each other, but then it never happens. And coworkers, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I have a lot of respect and affection for the people that I've worked with in the past, but they've all got their own lives, and I get it. So, I have a few close friends, and I'm grateful for them. I don't really have a lot of energy to make my house the showplace it once was, and even if I did, like, this place is so dated in so many ways, like, there's only so much I can do. Um, and I have, some of my mom's stuff that I could part with. Yeah, so I really do need to start looking through some of that stuff. I mean, we had to move so fast, almost 4 years ago that a lot of the stuff I just took it out of the attic and moved it without looking at it. Or I just threw stuff in boxes, and if I didn't know where to put it, I would just put it up in the attic. So that's some of the stuff I'm dealing with. So I'll get to it eventually. It's also very hot up there in the summer, so I'm thinking maybe I'll ask my son or Steve to take 1 or 2 boxes down at a time. I'll look through it, decide what I want to do with it. I'm not sure if I've told you guys, but I used to have a crafting business called Made with Love by Lori, and kind of inflation and the economy have killed that. I made primarily wreaths, custom wreaths, seasonal wreaths. I made other crafts as well. I did baked goods for a while, but people were kind of haggling with me over the price of my items, and my items were very well made, original, not to toot my own horn, and I would only make $20 on each wreath after the cost of materials. Sometimes a little bit more if what was ordered was very labor intensive, which sometimes it was. And people would expect me to offer Temu prices. They wouldn't understand that while I liked what I did and I liked creating and I liked making people happy, I still needed to be able to make a profit or it wouldn't be worth my time. People would tell me I needed to buy my supplies at Dollar Tree, but what they don't understand is I kind of was. I would buy half the stuff at Dollar Tree. I'd buy stuff on clearance at other stores when I could. But at the end of the day, the supplies are what they are, and it would make me laugh because, some of them would want such outlandish custom stuff that I'd have to outsource to have some of that stuff made to use. So, they wouldn't account that into the pricing. And I guess, decorative items for the home right now in today's economy, they're not really a concern for most people. I get it. It's not a necessity. So I do have a lot of crafting supplies upstairs in my attic, and I need to kind of condense them. I mean, I'm going to keep some because, a lot of it, it gets to be expensive. And I still do custom orders when some of my regular customers approach me. And, I like to make things for gifts. So I just need to condense all that down, hopefully save some space. But I know that there's things I could part with. I know I can, thin out my holiday stuff. I don't have as big of a house anymore. I don't have as much room to put stuff. It's just hard sometimes to look through it too because the memories that are attached with it. So that's what's going on with me. I hope you guys are all well. I'm hoping to have enough energy so that I can make a couple videos over the next couple weeks. I want to show you my garden. I did plant a garden, a container garden. I used terracotta pots, and I bought 2 raised garden beds. I did not spend all that much on my garden. I have asparagus going, which I really didn't realize are going to take a couple years, but that's okay. So I'm going to throw some other seeds or maybe some other plants in there so I can utilize the space. I have 4 pepper plants going, a couple different colors, and then a mini pepper plant. And I have 3 tomato plants going, different ones. And in each tomato planter, I have planted onion sets and radish seeds. So the radishes are starting to come up, which is cool. And then what else do I have? I have basil. I have celery. And I'm going to be planting some seed potatoes. I was supposed to do that this week. It's rained here for the past 4 to 5 days, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow. So I got my seed potatoes. I cut them in half. They have skinned over. I'm going to spray them with a mixture of peroxide and water to make sure that there's no mold forming. I have potato grow bags with little windows on the side so I can see what's going. And it's not too late to plant them. I might just have a slightly later harvest. They say each potato, it yields about 10 potatoes, so that's pretty cool. So I'm hoping that I'm successful with that. I have never tried to grow this much before at once. I've been successful with flowers before, but the only thing that I ever grew garden-wise was 2 tomato plants last year, and I wasn't that successful with them. Well, I didn't really take care of them all that well, but these I am. So if anybody's got any advice on gardening, I'd appreciate it. I did plant a blueberry plant on my front porch. I know that that baby needs some acid in its soil, so I ordered some organic fertilizer from Amazon that has that in it. And I also looked up some other things to put on that because I don't want it to die. It's looking pretty peaked since I potted it. So, you know, I know that it takes a couple years for that to grow, mature into fruit. But I just thought it would be neat to grow my own blueberries, because who doesn't love blueberries? Well, I'm sure some people don't. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble, and I think that's because I'm tired again. So I'm sending love to you guys from New Jersey as always. I'm going to get some shut-eye. I hope you guys are resting well, and I hope that you've been well, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Until then, bye guys. Thanks for watching. Please share, subscribe, and like. Bye.